Hi, I am sitting at the graveside of Flannery O'Connor here in Milledgeville, Georgia, and I'm gonna have to just rotate my phone because it won't let me turn it while I'm recording. So here is Flannery O'Connor's gravestone. She's buried with other members of her family, and it's just really calm and peaceful out here. This is actually a beautiful cemetery. Lots of old historical grave sites as well. There is a road right here, so you might be hearing cars, but I'm hearing lots of birds. So I wanted to get to know Flannery a little bit better. And obviously you can get to know an author through their words and their stories and biographies, but I think we get to know authors better through their own words and their own life experience. So I have this book that I brought along with me called A Prayer Journal by Flannery O'Connor, and I'd like to read a little bit of this first entry for you. So here we go. Dear God, I cannot love thee the way I want to. You are the slim crescent of a moon that I see, and myself is the earth's shadow that keeps me from seeing all the moon. The crescent is very beautiful, and perhaps that is all one like I am should or could see. But what I am afraid of, dear God, is that my self-shadow will grow so large that it blocks the whole moon, and that I will judge myself by the shadow that is nothing. I do not know you, God, because I am in the way. Please help me to push myself aside. I want very much to succeed in the world with what I want to do. I have prayed to you about this with my mind and my nerves on it, and strung my nerves into attention over it, and said, oh God, please, and I must, and please, please. I have not asked you, I feel, in the right way. Let me henceforth ask you with resignation that not being or meant to be a slacking up in prayer, but a less frenzied kind, realizing that the frenzy is caused by an eagerness for what I want and not a spiritual trust. I do not wish to presume. I want to love. Oh God, please make my mind clear. Please make it clean. I ask you for a greater love for my Holy Mother, and I ask her for a greater love for you. Please help me to get down under things and find where you are. I do not mean to deny the traditional prayers I have said all my life, but I've been saying them and not feeling them. My attention is always very fugitive. This way, I have it every instant. I can feel a warmth of love heating me when I think and write this to you. Please do not let the explanations of the psychologists about this make it turn suddenly cold. My intellect is limited, Lord, that I can only trust in you to preserve me as I should be. Okay, so I love that prayer. It's so raw and sincere, right? But I also have this book called The Habit of Being. And this one is a collection of her letters. Look how thick this thing is. And I wanted to read you just a couple of excerpts from The Habit of Being as well. So this one is to Elizabeth and Robert Lowell, and she says this. I didn't mean I was fat when I said I was disgustingly healthy. I'm not fat yet, but I don't have any room to grow. I just meant I don't look very intelligent. I was in Nashville a couple of weeks ago visiting the Cheneys and met a man who looked at me a while and said, that was a profound book. You don't look like you wrote it. I mustered up my squintiest expression and snarled, well, I did. But at the same time, I had to recognize he was right. That's from January 1st, 1953. Or this one, and that's not the whole letter, it's just an excerpt from it. This one is written to Ben Griffith on the 3rd of March, 1954. I'm amused by the tar in his throat, T-A-R-E. I had to look it up in the dictionary. The truth is, it was my error, not the printer's. I meant it in the sense of split in his voice. I have always been a very innocent speller. I never sense that I'm spelling something incorrectly, and so don't look up the words. The simpler the word, the more liable I am to come up with a rare spelling. If anybody else asks me about this, I'm certainly going to say I meant it in the sense of first principle, a seed of evil, and thus pass myself off for a scholar. Tear in his throat must be a colloquial expression, as it comes very naturally to me, whereas someone else might think it mannered. However, the omniscient narrator is not properly supposed to use colloquial expressions. So, we see her kind of defy these publishing standards and industry expectations. And then there's also this section this is also to Ben Griffith, from the 4th of May, 1955. I am writing hard brace to send you an advance copy of A Good Man is Hard to Find, which is my collection of short stories, due to be published June 6th. There is one very long story in it, 60 pages, that I would like you to see, and another called Good Country People that pleases me no end. You will observe that I admire my own work as much as if not more than anybody else does. I have read The Artificial Negro several times since it was printed, enjoying it each time as if I had nothing to do with it. I feel that it is not quite delicate of me, but it may be balanced by the fact that I write a great deal that is not fit to read, which I properly destroy. So, once again, let's say our hello and I guess farewell to Mrs. Flannery O'Connor. You can kind of see at her grave site here, there are pennies. That's something that's done a lot at author grave sites. In fact, the only author grave site I've ever gone to that doesn't have pennies beside it is Robert Frost's. And I'm not sure why that is. Emily Dickinson and Flannery O'Connor definitely have a lot of little knickknacks here in commemoration of them. So I hope you've enjoyed getting to know Flannery a little bit better. And as you dig into your reading this week, I hope you'll get to really experience her and grow to love her as I do.